Hey everyone, this is the fourth and final episode of the Sanjay series. As a lot of you may know, Sanjay Mortimer, founder of E3D, is no longer with us. He passed November 27th, 2021. This video was recorded about a month prior to his passing, where Sanjay and I spent over 3 hours just hanging out and talking. 2.5 hours or so of that was recorded and released in the 4 videos. We'll card to the entire playlist if you guys want to see it. My sincerest condolences go out to Sanjay's family, the E3D team, and quite frankly, the 3D printing community in general. This is a big blow, one that I don't think any of us ever saw coming. Sanjay was 32 years old. I'm 31. And yeah, it puts a lot of things into perspective. We tell you guys at the end of every video to not forget to call your loved ones. I'm going to tell it to you right now. Don't forget to call your loved ones. I want you to pause the video. I want you to call somebody in your life that you love or maybe you should reconnect with and let them know that you love them, because you never know when they may not be here the next day. I'm going to get off my soapbox now. I want you guys to enjoy this video. I really enjoyed making it, and unfortunately, we won't be able to make any more. But that's okay. We're glad for the time that we had. Everybody over at E3D, thank you for the opportunity, and thank you to all of you that are watching. Enjoy.
But I would really like to have a print farm on Mars.
So some questions from the community, and a lot of them are kind of on this point of that the Revo is a massive change from the V6. Will there be a way to adapt, like a lot of people, I've got a stockpile of V6 components, but particularly nozzles. Will there be a way to somehow adapt a V6 nozzle into the Revo ecosystem, or am I just kind of stuck burning through my V6 stuff and then switching over to Revo?
Yeah, it's already done. It's Chimera Heatbreak.
Right, but get the Revo cartridge heater, but still use a V6 nozzle.
Ah, Revo heater core.
Sorry, yes, heater core.
I'm not sure if we will make an M6 internally threaded heater core for a little bit, just because we are hand to mouth for parts at the moment. We have every single we're even using our prototyping machinery to try and run parts to get Revo parts in the door so that we can start building them for, ship dates. So
is it still on track for December-ish?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think so. I've actually not caught up with procurement recently. As I said, I took a little bit of a break post getting Revo out, and Rory did too as well, which is very much deserved, more so even by Rory, I would say, because he's led that project and driven it, and the whole that's all Rory, not me, and just an amazing team.
That is one thing you guys have. That is a massive leadership quality, to be able to build a incredibly valuable and reliable team. I mean, any business right now knows good help is hard to find.
No, what the hell are we chatting shit about? M6 internally threaded heater cores are something that will probably come to exist in the near future. TM. But I don't want to there seems to be no end to the inability to get parts.
Whenever that all fixes itself.
Yeah, it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy almost, because you're scared you can't get parts, so you're like, well, shit, best place large orders and get lots in. So I wonder if there's going to be a bubble to this in a way, and then there'll be a big everyone's overstocked further down the supply chain, and then
at some point there might be.
Yeah, I mean, this is very well studied in the like silicon boom bust economies, but this is like, it's nothing like I've ever seen before in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we had to buy all of this copper that we had to buy all of it.
Like everything the supplier had, you're like, I want it all.
No. All of it. Everything the suppliers had globally. We bought all of it.
Okay, so Sanjay is artificially inflating the price of copper. There's my title.
Yeah.
No.
Sorry, Dan.
So you guys literally bought out every supplier you could to get the copper that you needed to do all this.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we have all of it.
We have 6 different projects that are electronic related that are stopped. Stopped.
Yep.
And the client's like, where's my stuff? I'm like, I don't know. Somewhere in a factory getting made by someone who doesn't care, and it's going to be bought up by Intel, and we're not going to get any.
Exactly.
Frustration here as well. Totally feel this of, like, there's a chip that we need for a project, and I can actually get them made if I order 250,000 of them. I need 4.
Wait, you know what the longest lead item on Revo is that with those dinky fans, we're
the little sun-on fans.
Yeah, so we're getting a custom IC so that we can have those dinky fans which have this like unipolar brushless thing going on. So we can have a 24-volt tiny fan. That requires a custom piece of silicon. So we have to go, so Sunon we had to place an order for 1 Brazilian, fans.
That is a technical term for those wondering. A Brazilian is a definition of a metric load.
Yes, 1 Brazilian. And so they go out and like do whatever witchcraft they need to do on the inside of the photolithography, rearrange the sand into magic. And
it's so true. We have so much sand in this world, and yet we can't get good silicon fast.
Yeah. And so like,
damn GPU miners, I'm just blaming them.
Yeah, and we were quoted a 6-month lead time, which has now been updated to 9.
Oh my gosh.
We ordered the fans for this thing for like 4 months ago or something now.
So will the first Revo ship like a 5-volt version?
No, they'll arrive, but they'll be the last part to arrive as well. They're the first part we ordered, and they'll be the last part to arrive.
So when do we see E3D vertically integrating to start producing their own fans in-house?
Fans, no. More vertical integration, hell yes.
I mean, that's how you make money, is vertical integration, right?
Well, yeah, but I guess we don't add value to fans, so we would never,
I figure it's more of a supply chain necessity for vertical integration than anything else.
Well, that's a part of it, but it also lets you run like super lean. And so in terms of like cash at the bank, yes, you buy a load of machines, but then you don't have to hold stock in the same way. And instead of holding 1,000 of this nozzle, 1,000 of that nozzle, 1,000 of another nozzle,
you hold 100 or less.
I can hold 100,000 nozzles worth of copper and then convert it into whichever, or brass or whatever, and then convert it into whichever size of nozzle I need on the fly. And that's a software problem. It's all G-code after that.
Right, yeah, it's just feeding the bar stock into the machines and letting them do their thing. I have watched Swiss machines work before, and it's mesmerizing. And then eventually it's like, oh, this is just all that it does all the time. Yep. Cool.
Yeah.
And we're hitting tolerances so small, you can't even measure it with a normal dial indicator.
Oh, hell no, bro. Like, So Travis is our main guy that runs the Swiss. So if you're running any of the like beta parts, or if you have anything that's even vaguely Revo shaped in your possession, it was made by Travis's own fair hands, and he custom, like, he writes all the G code like by hand. There's no cam involved. Yeah. That whole
Okay,
thing,
so he's a glutton for punishment. Got it.
he grinds like tons of his own custom form tooling. So like the little spring clip where the spring snaps into, that's a custom form tool. Like,
wow.
Like,
hey, don't speak too much good about him. He's gonna see this video and ask for a raise.
he's a freaking legend. Like, and he's taught himself this. Like, he went on the course and learned, and like, it's just so cool to see people like just become like masters of an art and put themselves in it. And he like Travis like gets out of bed in the morning to make chips. Like, that is what that man is born to do, and he just freaking amazing job of it.
I love that you talk so fondly of your team. I know that when I talk to other business owners, they're a little laxadays and like, yeah, you know, they're there. But, you know, every single person that you've talked about so far, they are a rock star in your mind. And, you know, you have nothing but good to say about them. And I love that, right? That it's refreshing to see a company that's got good staff that give a damn about the product, give a damn about the industry, and treat the machines as if they are their own machines. And that is, it's truly a breath of fresh air. It is, seriously.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in my mind, like, as a company that sells nozzles, you don't want to piss off the guy that makes all the f***ing nozzles, right? That'd be bad for business.
Yeah, no, definitely don't want to do that. Speaking of nozzles, where are we looking at for the Revo nozzle pricing? It is, I don't think I've ever seen it announced.
Ooh.
I don't need you to stick to a number. Is it going to be more expensive or less than a V6?
Oh, it's more. It's going to be more than £10.
Okay. My thought was somewhere in the 15 range is where we would see it.
Yeah, it's
that
like
was
somewhere around that.
Well, that was just based on the hot end costing $65, which is what the V6 used to cost. So I'm like, all right, you know, at that it's $13.75 a nozzle.
I guess the mystery element that we and why I kind of like give you a price now, despite knowing like fairly firmly what the costs for the individual parts are, is that we haven't run the process of making, so the metal to metal sealing machine and process.
Yeah, that's no joke, by the way. It's some cool stuff.
Yeah, that is a hard problem, and essentially we've not run that process in the tens of thousands scale in anger, so we don't know what yield and throughput is.
Right.
And so, you know, we might have a scrap rate of like 10%. And this thing like automatically detects if the process has been successful and has like built-in, like the whole, and all the data is logged, and I really want to like somehow find a way to put QR codes on them so that we can like show all that data to you, like Prusament. But
I was gonna say, I love that Prusament does this. It is,
yeah, and we're doing that for heater cores. All of our heater cores, you're gonna like, because the heater working well is not just important, but it's you know, it's a matter of safety. And so when we QC our heaters, we don't just like measure the resistance and see if the heater heats up. It goes through a whole like heat up cycle and ramp up and down, and goes through like emulating how the printer will run it, just only harder. And we log all that data, and we make sure the thermistor's within tolerance, and that the heat up curve is within, like, we have like some basically guide curves, and it has to sit
Yeah,
within
it
those
has to fall within
curves.
that range.
Or a whole bunch of other measurements. Also, it gets hypot tested, which I don't know if you know what hypot is, but it's basically you put a very high voltage through wires that shouldn't be touching or connecting to each other, and it makes sure that they really are truly very well insulated from each other. Because if there's like moisture or say carbon sitting around, you can inadvertently create a short circuit that gets more conductive over time. You have like breakdown voltage and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We want to get all of that data like on a page. So you scan your QR code and you get shown like all of that heat up curve data. I mean, it's beautiful, right? Like show you the guide curves, show you like how yours did within that, like that it like hypot passed, that like, you know, and that it PID settles with these values.
That's the kind of stuff that I want to see, because when you're pushing the limits, right? When you are really running hot ends, extruders, and all of that as close to the edge of their life as possible to get as much value as you can, knowing those PIDs from the factory, knowing where this heater sits, because then I can buy 20 heater cores, check them all, and bin out the one that I like the most for my high, for my high temp printer or my high speed printer. And yeah, I'm sure they're all going to be, within plus or minus X percentage. But it would be fun to go through that and see, all right, let's see, we're going to buy randomly.
It's not
20.
having to be at the auto tune because we did that for you at the factory, right?
Oh, it's going to be so nice.
Right.
Be so nice. I would be curious to see what the range is, and if there can be just like, all right, these values will work, but if you really want to tune it, here are the ones specific for your hot end.
Yeah, I think that's what we'll have, like something along those lines. Like that is a system and user interface and experience that's not built yet.
Right.
But all of that data is being collected for every single heater core that goes out of the building already. So all of the betas had data collected on them as they were built. So that is already an operable system that's collecting data, and the metal-to-metal sealing process is already data logging.
Awesome.
Like all of the forces and encoders, and like there's so many bells and whistles on that thing. It's like, oh. Yeah, I really want to talk about that process, but that's a big no-no because that's deep magic.
Is that going to be a patented magic or trade secret magic?
I think just like trade secret magic. Like there's not, like, I don't know. I didn't see that there's anything to patent about metal to metal sealing of. There's nothing in there that I guess the syringe industry probably hasn't done.
That's fair.
With just doing it to like tolerances. And again, like do the math, or what is the commenter with the answer closest to the correct answer for what is the internal pressure in metric units, please? Thank you. No psi over here. No, none of that. Yeah, what is the internal pressure inside of a nozzle when the peak force of a Hemera, which I'd say is like the safe peak running force, is about 8 kilos in force at 80 newtons. So them's your numbers. Commenter with the answer closest to correct, and also most upvoted because they make some smart observational joke alongside the correct number. Because I imagine a lot of people will come to the same number, but fight amongst yourselves. And I'll get the commenter with the closest to the highest, closest to the correct damn. You know what I'm saying? I'm losing my words. I've been
Revo.
Yeah, Revo for the best mathematician fire out
Yes.
there.
I am excited. I am excited for the Revo. I
Did you
want
get
to
one?
test. No,
Oh,
I was never in the beta program, which I guess lended itself to my benefit because we were able to do those videos because I didn't know anything else. I did the videos on everything that was public without any other prior knowledge. But no, I have never held a Revo.
yeah. So we try and not have influencers in the beta testing pool, because then it gets really sticky with like, and you know, a lot has been said about, you know, as an influencer you have to be careful about how you represent products and your unconscious biases and things of that nature, and we don't want to unintentionally create like malformed incentive structures where people like want to be in the beta program, so they say nice things like Maker's Muse and Tom Sanladera, many other people have like done a lot of, you know, commentary on this subject, and we agree with them. We're trying to like be careful and responsible in how we like deal with that whole situation, and it feels like it could just get sticky and by having influencers in the beta pool, so we try and exclude that so that we're not creating strange incentive structures.
I mean, look, and understand there is no hard feelings that I wasn't in the beta pool.
Yeah.
And I think when I signed up, I was not an influencer back then anyways. And calling what we have, you know, influence still bothers me because I'm like, no, I don't like, that's a dirty word. I don't like that word. But it's not incorrect, right?
Right.
I'm not a Tom Sandlater, I am not a Maker's Muse. Good Lord, they are orders of magnitude larger than we are. But unlike them, I'm not afraid to say things that could get me in trouble, right? I'm not afraid to call out Lulzbot and then never get a test printer from them. I sent out to see if I could get a review unit, crickets, because I have not been very nice about them, right? Because I think they did some things that weren't great, and I called them out for it. And, you know, same thing, right? If these patents come out and they're, you know, and they're rough, I'll be one of the first people to go through it and say something about it.
Yeah, tell it like it is, dude.
Yeah, and that's kind of a big deal for me, is always maintaining that level of, you can love me or hate me, and that doesn't matter to me. I am here to tell the story, whether people like it or not. And I get that, right? As I'm in a beta right now for a belt 3D printer. And I know for a fact that my machine has been delayed because they've ran into a lot of issues, and they know I'm going to do a live stream of the build. And if I run into issues like that, I'm going to tear them a new one because, you know, that's the way it goes. And that's okay. I don't mind that it's been delayed. I think delaying it was the right move. You know, I look at what is coming out, right? I look at the Revo, and I still, and maybe this can be an April Fool's thing, I want to see a Devo Revo. I want to see a Revo nozzle with the Devo hat milled in it instead, as a joke.
What's a Devo hat?
They're a band, DEVO. They wear low poly pyramid hats, basically. It's their shtick. But they were a popular band. Look them up, DEVO. They were a popular band many moons ago in the States. Clearly they didn't make it into the UK, but I literally made Devo jokes.
I'm not very down with the kids, I'm sorry.
Neither am I, right? I'm not either.
Oh, dude, my battery is dying.
On this topic, and this is a question that I don't know if I even feel comfortable asking, so you don't have to answer this one. The Protoprint 3D Raptor.
Yeah. Eerie, like, bears some really eerie resemblances.
Yeah.
A lot of it. At first we were like, maybe did they like somehow have some access to the beta parts, and like it's like, but no, I think that they've just reached some of the same, you know, parallel evolution, dolphins and sharks, right?
Right.
I think that they've reached some of the same conclusions.
I never heard of them. And when we were streaming, answering questions about the Revo, going, you know, after the main channel video came out, we did a stream. And people mentioned it in both the comments on the video and then the comments on the stream. And I looked up, I'm like, oh, shit. These are a lot alike. And I'm like, they're way too alike for it not to be some sort of espionage. And I don't think it was on the part of E3D.
That's what I thought at first glance. But, you know, Hanlon's razor, never ascribed, you know, or it's not quite Hanlon's razor, but I think that if they had seen how Revo is implemented and had an eye on why, they would have made it like our patented Revo, the aspects of our patent and what it covers. I think that if they had their eyes on the inside and had seen like beta units, then they wouldn't have made the mistakes that they're about to run into, because we tried doing it that way.
Oh yeah, that was kind of a moment for me, and it literally says, depending on mood, ask about the Raptor. That's literally what my show notes tell me, because I wrote that. I said I don't know if it's gonna go well, but I know that that's a question that everybody's been asking. I said I can't comment on it. It looks eerily similar.
Yeah,
but it's not. E3D knows better.
Yeah, like they don't appear to have any patents that are in the point in the process where anything about them is published,
right?
That we can find from them, and we've searched a lot, and so it's unclear exactly what they are patenting,
if any.
But and I'm not sure if I see anything that I would consider patentable and valuable in there. And I don't currently have any reason to believe that there's been any espionage of them to us. Yeah, I don't think they have. You know, I'm always, you know, I don't know, maybe I just always, you know, want to see the rest of people.
I feel the same way, right? Trust but verify.
Yeah, and we've done our verify bit, and they look visually externally similar, and they tout many of the same in their marketing, many of the same marketing messages and advantages that we're calling out. But their underlying fundamental implementation is quite different. So yes, they have a diamond-like coated carbon nozzle, but it's not the same construction as Obsidian, and it's also definitely not going to have our fancy non-stick top coat Pixie Magic in it. And the way that their heat transfer systems, both heat sink and heater core to nozzle, the way all that's arranged is basically the opposite of the way that we did Revo, and there's reason for that.
Well, I mean, that's good, right? I know that we've never had an official response on that, and you know, I'm glad, because there was part of me that said, gosh, this is not good. And I don't know who's at fault. So all right, it's just kind of a natural thing until proven otherwise, of course.
Yeah. And I think for now, like, I want to just assume parallel evolution and good faith. And I honestly believe that's what's happened in this case.
I'm down for that.
I don't think that, as far as I can see, they're violating any of our patents that we're trying to do. And I don't think, and I hope that we're not the same for them. And I wish them the best of luck.
There you go. I mean, I couldn't be happier to hear that, right? Because I said, God, if there is a thought of espionage, this is going to be a really awkward question to ask.
Nah.
So, is there anything that you want the 3D printing community to know in regards to the Revo, the lighter Chimera, anything else? Is there anything that maybe we don't know yet that you think we should?
Well, the things that I can say.
That you can talk about, yeah. Have we missed anything? Like, have we, like, a lot of us have covered the Revo, right? There have been a few channels, and of course,
I surreptitiously tickled the next big one, somewhere back in there.
Shit.
Yeah.
I want to go back and listen to the raw recording now and see.
Yeah.
Cool. That is exciting. Is there a plan rollout for these, added features to the Revo, or the new, whether it's a heat sink design or whatever it is, the two blurry Revos? Is there like a timeline that you can give us for that?
That's what I was supposed to do last quarter as my deliverable to the company, but instead I ran around like a crazy person and with the team alongside me, like, got Revo. Yeah, there was a last minute technical snag, and boy was it a doozy.
Anyone that's owned a business has been in that situation where it's like everything is going wrong right when we have a deadline. F it, we're doing it live.
Mate, like, you've no idea. Like, we built the stand, like, for the TCT and everything, and we only, like, managed to get to the, like, validation threshold within, like, I don't know if it was days or about a week before.
Hey, that's early as far as I'm concerned. On time would have been the night before.
But yeah, up until then, like, I was turning a bun.
A lot of people don't know that struggle, right? And gosh, once the Revo is out, I would love to just have a talk and you talk about some of the challenges that you guys faced and how you improvised, adapted, and overcame, because the part is cool, but good Lord, you said it's like 6 years. There's a story here, and I am so interested because I know clearly the beta has been going on for a while. The Revo's gone through quite a few different changes to where it got now, and I love a good story, and to me, there's a good one here.
Oh yeah, and as a teaser, because the story ends really interestingly, but after chasing this bug in the system for like 6 weeks, ultimately it was fixed with a Sharpie.
Yeah, see, now there's a great story there. That is a story. Yeah, that's a good story. Now,
Sharpie and a custom 5-axis microscope. But that's a whole other ball game.
My team tells me that you were an educator previously. Is this correct?
Yeah, I was. I used to be a teacher. I think when it comes to the heater core and Revo, just remember that designing these parts is fairly trivial. Like, there are lots of people that have, like, it's very easy to design. You put the heater around the nozzle. Like, there's 2 circles, right? The hard part is executing that at 1,000 units per day. That's the real story, because you can knock up a prototype. I mean, Runnis now have metal ceramic heaters around nozzles in their Rapido hot end all of a sudden, and all of a sudden lots of people have renders and pictures of metal ceramic heater around nozzle. and it's very easy to draw one round thing around another. I know this because I drew a round thing around another like 3-4 years ago. It's the building the machines and the processes and literally designing materials to bond them together that deal with thermal expansion, contraction, heat transfer, and flow. Like building materials from the ground up. These are the things, that is the real engineering challenge and story, and why our system will be better. I am gonna be cocky here, and I fucking defy them to make something better than that heater core.
I love it. I mean, that's confidence. That's not cockiness. That's confidence. You are confident in the work that you did, and you're doing, and your whole team.
We checked, and like 600 beta testers checked, and we found issues, and we fixed them, and then we checked again, and it's legit.
I love it. Pumped. Sanjay, I appreciate your time. My last question is, where do you see E3D in 10 years? But you know what? I don't even know if I want an answer to that, because this is amazing.
Has even answered for 10 years? Have we existed for 10 years?
Where do you see yourself in the next 10 years?
I have no fucking idea, because when we registered for the company E3D around 10 years ago, the E stood for education, and we were teachers, and we wanted to make teaching material for classrooms. And that's where we saw ourselves in 10 years. So I think that the uncertainty bounds on that question are too wide to be useful. And we don't plan anything beyond a 3-year timeline horizon. But I would really like to have a print farm on Mars.
That'd be pretty dope.
That's been something I've been thinking about a lot.
I can get you in contact with somebody that you might be able to talk about that with.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking to the Made in Space guys, and Tethers Unlimited as well. Interesting bunch, and others. But yeah, if you got any other contacts, it'd be super interesting. But I've been doing a lot of, as my bedtime project is how to do in situ resource utilization in order to build polymers on Mars. So I think that you should be able to take methane and crack it down into propene, which you then catalytically polymerize in polypropylene into polypropylene. And so assuming that methane production is a solved problem to feed the raptors, and also that agriculture is a solved problem to feed the humans, you should then also be able to make PA11, polyamide nylon 11, from modified soybean stock. Anyway, that's a real rabbit hole.
I mean, it absolutely is, and I know we could take up hours talking about that, but I know you've got to get going, right?
Now I really must go.
All right, Sanjay, yeah, I appreciate your time.
That's something I want done in the next 10 years, actually. That's something I want done. Yeah.
I appreciate it, sir. Thank you again.
I want humanity to have that done, and I hope to contribute towards getting that done.
I hope to be along there with you. That'd be a lot of fun to say, yep, we did this together.
See you on Mars, buddy. See you on Mars.
Have a good one, Sanjay. Thank you so much for your time again. I've taken up so much of it. I really greatly appreciate your openness and willingness to do this interview. So
I had a good, dude.
Looking forward to talking with you in the future.
Mars.
Yes, sir. Take care. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for watching the Sanjay series. This concludes the series. We talked about setting up podcasts and things like that, but as I said in the beginning of the video, Sanjay is no longer with us, and so unfortunately those are not going to happen. Sanjay was an innovator and a pioneer in this industry, one of the 3 founders of E3D, and truly worked to make 3D printing easy. That's what the Revo is. I think it was the 2nd episode, maybe it was the 1st, where he says, if you're watching this video, the Revo is not actually designed for you. And that is so bloody impactful, because that's what 3D printing is about, is bringing it to the masses. The rest of us that have been screwing around with 3D printers for years, we're gonna love the Revo, don't get me wrong. It's made for the educators. It's made for the people that have never used 3D printing before that maybe could. But the technology has, for some reason or other, scared them away. I am privileged in such being in a position where we can have that conversation, and I am forever grateful to have the opportunity to speak to such a wonderful man, and God, feel like we were just connected for 2.5 hours. Like, we just got each other. This is truly one of the most memorable interviews that I've done in the past few years, and I said all of this to E3D before I knew about the news. Actually, I said that exact statement in an email to E3D with the final proof of this video, which of course now is being re-edited. So none of that changes. This is still one of the most impactful and meaningful interviews that I've had in a long time. Somebody that really just gives a damn. And that's hard to find these days. Again, I want to thank the E3D team from the bottom of my heart for setting this up. Thank you guys so much for working with us throughout this entire process. And even in the wake of Sanjay Mortimer, I hope that E3D will not be slowing down. I know there's going to be a mourning period, but I'm looking forward to the team getting back up and following in the footsteps of a man that was all about bringing 3D printing into the homes of everybody. Again, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please leave some love down in the comments for E3D. I'm sure they're going to be paying attention to it, guys. We're going to put links to E3D's Discord where you can go and say nice things about Sanjay if you have any memories or things with him, photos. We appreciate the community. Thank you guys for everything that you do. Right below me is going to be the entire Sanjay series, and that's going to be the only video. I want you guys to click that and go through it one more time. I don't care if you just got all the way through one more time. Go back through it. I will see you all in the next video. Sanjay, may you rest in peace. Take care.